Y'all know my partner, Joe Cool.
What's up, what's up?
All right, so today, we're going to unpack this thing with this interview with Leon Rose. All right, but first, everybody, do us the favor. Hit the like button and also hit the subscribe button. In fact, we should do it like in the old days with the teams. I say 1, 2, 3, y'all hit like. 4, 5, 6, hit subscribe if you haven't already. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know. What you think? We'll do that again later. I don't know if all them clicks came in there. All right, so first of all, we got to say kudos to Alan Hahn because that was a good interview. And one thing I did like about it before we get into it is I always felt Alan was more like us, like Nick, like real diehard Knicks fans. I ain't talking about the crazies who's always looking for some negative angle, but he's a genuinely Knicks fan. So that's what I did like about that. And then even before it gets to Stephen A. and some of the other critics, because they always say Leon don't talk, and when he do, it's controlled by MSG, and the questions are pre-screened. Well, everybody, the questions are pre-screened.
Yeah.
But as far as the interview with Alan Hahn, Alan hit all of the things that we would ask somebody.
Yeah, I was gonna say that he asked it, but he ain't pressing him.
Yeah,
like he just asked one time, and he said, "See what he was gonna say."
Yeah, well, I think because it probably was. Of course, we know the questions were put in beforehand, but the way Leon approached all of it, was nice. It was like
some of them. I was like, "Yeah, Leon, don't answer that because then we're gonna be on ESPN for the wrong reason."
He kind of, he kind of
answered everything, but
yeah, given the situation, and the nugget though was that it was before training camp. Training camp is this week. So the fact that there was no pressure to do that interview because he's going to get interviewed for training camp. So that was the nugget for me for the whole thing is that it came before training camp. Yeah. So this was our time for us Knicks fans to look at this and dissect it and take away from it, which we will. So, but yeah, I know Stephen A. going to have his say, and that's going to be interesting because I think a lot of us walked away satisfied, and I'll be curious to see who didn't. In a lot of that. But as far as the players that he touched on, I like the fact, too, that he elaborated, like he didn't just throw names out there as far as our players. He elaborated. And I kind of like when he got to the R.J. Barrett and Mitchell Robinson thing as far as he felt that was big, which we know, to re-sign them.
And it's funny because I remember, right as I'm watching it getting to the end, I called you and I was like, everything that we said in past episodes, it's like he went through and hit each of those topics. You know what I mean? So, you can go ahead.
Yeah, but again, with the RJ, I like the fact that he knew that other people wanted RJ. Even though Allen had said it, he knew they had to try to keep RJ. He knew that signing Mitch. I like the way he talked about Mitch's development over the past few years. Like, to me, that's key because we look at everything that didn't happen. But, he elaborated on it. And then even when he got to the Donovan Mitchell thing. Now, again, the only thing that threw me was when he started out saying that when he came here, we said we would be aggressive. So I don't know we don't know because we're not in the room. And we got to touch on that, too, about that. I don't know if they was aggressive. As far as a lot of pieces that moved in them 2-3 years that they've been here. But then he also talked about how our plan was to develop the young guys. But the young guys' names were all thrown in trades. So that was the only little sticking point, And then even before we get back to the other players, the only part that is nice, but that also like sometimes you can't have it that way, is when he named the 5-6 people that make the decisions for the Knicks.
Yeah.
And then he did say he makes the ultimate decision. But sometimes when you want to go with your gut, sometimes you don't need no outside interference when you're going with your gut. Like I really feel strongly about this as the president, in regards to what anybody else say. Now, of course, it's good to hear other people. We ain't saying that. Good leaders are also good followers. But sometimes you got to go with your gut and do things off of that. So other than that, everything else, like,
to go with development, I like how he pinpointed RJ's numbers. I think that's one thing we forget.
I didn't even know that though.
So we knew he was getting better. But I look at it more as impact wise. He looked at it more as the numbers wise. Same thing with Quickly and Obi's performance. He pinpointed like how they impacting the game, or when Obi finally got his chance, that he delivered at the end of the season. So that was like in the summer workouts where he's watching, like that they're getting better in these summer workouts, and they like developing good. So we always talk about development. It was nice to know that that was like a key thing.
Yeah, that he's paying. Yeah, that he's paying attention. Yeah, because when you go back to RJ, I didn't know he was when he mentioned those numbers, and sometimes those are frugal numbers, but when he mentioned like the company he was in, LeBron, KD, and somebody else,
I think it was like Kobe.
So he's only so I mean that's interesting. But again, we looking like you said, the impact of those numbers. But the fact that he was paying attention, and when you mentioned about the summer workouts, like I didn't know Grimes was there at all the time. We knew that IQ and Obi was always at the facility. I didn't know Grimes was always at the facility working out, but he made an emphasis to keep pointing out that the players are working out with the coaches.
And Cam Reddish doing what he's supposed to do.
That I enjoyed hearing that, because that's what we need. If the players are doing it on their own, which is good, you got to go back to the lab. You know what you got to work on. You know where you're comfortable. But if it ain't translating into something that's going to help during the season, then it's almost for naught.
But I think it is, because we always ask. We don't have no identity on where we want to go. So his other key point was the foundation, which you was talking about before, but RJ and Mitch and re-signing them to make that strong foundation, which now that I think about it, we never had. It's almost like we never had loyalty to those young guys or those key players. So mixing the development with that foundation, I feel like helped a lot.
Yeah.
So going to that and then having the picks to be more aggressive in what they want to get. So when they say that, I think that's where they was going to. When he was like, he's being more aggressive, is what we need. So that was his third thing, getting key pieces to make us better, right? So if we look at the picks, getting Jalen Brunson and picking up Hartstein, I think that's what they mean by being more aggressive, to get what we need, because that's what he said. There ain't no sense of going after anybody if our development and our foundation is getting better.
Yeah. Yeah, that Hartenstein one too. He critiqued his game down to the wire in terms of, one, what he gonna bring to the team. I like the way he broke that down, and then two, how much the fans are gonna love him. Because that's why I didn't know much about him when we first got him. I was going back myself, and then I keep going back prior to that and looking at his game to see. Like I like, and my critique for him too, and it's a good critique, is that he's a ball magnet. Like he finds the ball within his role. He's not gonna get the ball thrown to him 20 times, but he'll find a way to be around the ball. And then when he get it, he's not just getting to pass it off.
Yeah,
he's getting to do something with it.
The comparison from Jericho Hartenstein and Jericho Sims is almost like, that community I always talk about with Knicks fans. It's like all in or nothing, and then it's like us staying packed and working on development our young guys. It was almost like he was trying to say, all of us that's with development, we're not crazy. Like he's saying everything that me and you said on the show for a couple months now. Like, if you're gonna stay with the young guys, just go ahead and stay with the young guys.
Yeah, if you're gonna stay with them, develop them. But again, but that's where Tibbs come in. We're gonna get to Tibbs in a bit. Is developing them to try to win, because you're not gonna just go from a 4th seed and then throw it all away. That's where I did understand Tibbs' part. Like everybody saying, play the young guys. But if I was a 4th seed and what I did in the playoffs, I did to myself. Remember, Randall flamed out mentally. A lot of our guys didn't step up mentally. So why would I try to like retool and go backwards? So I understood that part of it Tibbs last year. It ain't just play the young guys. It's play the young guys with a chance to try to win. So yeah, but as far as Leon Rose, I think he won a lot of people over in that interview the other day, and then we still have to give it to Alan Hahn, because even if the questions were pre-screened, Alan made him feel comfortable. Because if you remember, even when Leon was talking about something else, he would refer back to something Alan said. So that means he was listening. He didn't just know what the questions were. I'm listening to what you're saying, because I got these answers I want to get out there. Now this might be the last time we get that, but I was just real happy with the direction that the Knicks are going to be going in with that type of thinking. And it was a double-edged sword because I didn't believe all of it. So like you said, your terms of aggressive might be more accurate to what Leon was saying than mine. My thing is aggressive is you going out there and you shaking, and then not really, and then yours is to protect what we got, and that's what we want. Let's protect our players and then put them in a position to win. But getting back to Tom Thibodeau, that was interesting too, because we knew that Tom was a part of that type of family, and we also know that Tom is too stubborn to have anybody tell him what to do. So when the question was asked about the young guys, he made it clear, Leon, that we love our young guys, but there is no pressure on the coach to play who we want him to play.
Yeah, and he said he teaches.
Yeah.
So that was the thing. I know I refer back to that Lincoln documentary because it's brand new. They said the one thing about that coach that they had, I think in episode 4, I don't know his name, but he said he would teach, right? It got worse when he started getting the veterans, and it was like when he got Shaq and Kobe, he was trying to teach, but he was like, we want to win. But the good part when they're young is easier to teach because they want to listen. So they show clips of R.J. Barrett and Quickly and Grimes and all them running to him to see and reassure, like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
You can see that in the clips. But that was good. And then Randall, I like how they asked him the question about Randall, and he really answered it. He was like, listen, though the numbers was good, I think it was, pretty much his impact.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't the words he used, but that's what I got from it. Like, yeah, his numbers was the same. They said, what changed? His impact.
And he elaborated on that. So that means he's in touch. He's in touch with every single player. We just don't see it. So and the way he was talking about his players, there's a relationship there with Leon. You could tell. You don't just say those things and you don't have your own connection with the player. But even like you said, when he was talking about with Tibbs, their relationship, it's easier for a young kid, the young players we got, to buy into Tibbs' system if this is the first NBA team they on. If they would have been somewhere else, if IQ and RJ and them would have been somewhere else, then they may not go to the sideline the same way with a hard-nosed coach. But we know, too, Tibbs has softened his stance.
Well, you can see that with Cam Reddish.
Yeah.
Like, Cam Reddish looked at distant at first. But now he's saying he's actually with the team. He's training with the team.
Hey, listen,
he's staying there longer. It's almost like he wants to be a Knick.
Get down and lay down. That's what it is.
They asked him about the rumors of Cam Reddish wanting to leave. He didn't want to leave. He said, all right. He said, that was a rumor. I want to stay. He's trying to get his shoulder right.
Yeah, he want to stay.
He's fully healthy. So far, it looks like everybody's fully healthy. But Mitchell Robinson. So.
No, Cam want to stay. Cam, his frustration, which is legitimate, same way he left Atlanta, he wants more playing time. So that whole clean slate thing, and we know, and Tibbs say that, and we always wanted to believe that anyway, but we know that a veteran coach, he already got preconceived ideas with his veteran players. So even though it's a clean slate, you got to come in. So you got to come in, meaning Cam Reddish, IQ, and Quentin Grimes. You got to come in. You got to beat out Fournier. Right? Let's face it. Clean slate, but Fournier is my veteran.
Forget beat out Fournier. You see what he said about Derrick Rose? He answered that question too.
Yeah, we're gonna get to Derrick Rose.
We talked about that last week.
We'll get to that in the point guard.
So let's go back to shirt, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm ready."
No, we're gonna get to that. Let's go back. Yeah, Derrick definitely looked ready in the clips I've seen. But what he's saying is that Leon knows that he knows how. I know how Tib is. So y'all young guys want that spot. You got to take it from him. Even though it's a clean slate, he's really the one penciled in there. So you got to come in and take it. Now, of course, they got the ability. I think IQ has the experience of 3 years of playing 20-plus minutes, or going into year 3, playing 20-plus minutes. So he got the experience. I think Grimes got the bigger upside in terms of the two-way player to try to come in and take that spot. And if you wanted to go big, then now you're talking about RJ fighting for that 2 spot, which we know that's probably not going to happen in this case. But so yeah, but Leon, but it's just the presence in mind that Leon knows. I can't sit up here and say we're gonna play all our young guys, or we're gonna tell him who to play. Because you know, and that was a lot. I like that respect. Because now you didn't alienate the coaching staff. You know, you didn't alienate Thibodeau, because Thibodeau had to hear all that last year about play the young guys, and then that makes you more harder on the young guys because it's human nature. But also getting back to the Derrick Rose thing, because when when Alan Hahn said we forget about Derrick Rose, the first thing Leon said is, I didn't forget.
Yeah, nah.
So that was big. Like that, I took that as one of the major things he said. Derrick ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, nah.
And Derrick gonna be playing. All that rehabbing is to get back in there and play. And when he made a point to say that we broke down, you know, because we didn't have Derrick, and also to go further to say, almost to say we don't get to a 4th seed if we don't have Derrick. So that means he's in the equation, and we know Tibbs love him anyway. So all that talk, you know, and really I was doing it a few weeks ago about starting point guard, backup point guard. Well, we might as well say Derrick is the backup point guard.
Here's the thing: there's only 2 people they let out the family, and that was what's the center again? Oh, I forget his name now. That he's not on there. Power forward center.
Yeah, I know you're talking about
him and Burks. Now that they're gone, part of that family is gone, because now you got RJ, Brunson. I'm gonna put in Robinson, Tibbs, D Rose, and now you can start to see that family affair that they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't think Burke was part of that family, right?
I think so.
Right, I think Burke was Tibbs' guy. I don't think
that's all that matters, because when you ask D Rose what he said, when I was in Chicago, I felt like home. When I came to New York, not only did he name Tibbs, I think he named Leon and a couple other people.
Yeah.
And he was like, it felt like I'm right at home.
Yeah.
And then when you get RJ feels like he's right at home. Mitch, the big thing was, is he really that close to the Knicks to even want to stay? And he stayed. They didn't have to force him to. Paid him a little bit more money, and he stayed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I think they're going to, like almost like a family.
Yeah.
So if you fit that, then you'll stay.
Well,
Cam Reddish, he got to buy into this is the family, and then you can stay, almost like a mob kind of thing.
I mean, yeah, because Mitch is probably the one player who never, and I think they tried to get him early in his career to stay and train with the coaching staff. And to my knowledge, he's probably the one guy that don't do it. And some of that could be too his young mentality, you know. And of course, he was working hard this summer and trying to get faster and stuff like that. But I think it's just something about him being home and being around his own loved ones. And people need that too. So, but in a case like that, and maybe they do, send somebody down there with them. You know, they've known to do that.
Yeah.
You know how they used to do with KP. They would send somebody to Lafayette, wherever he was from. They would send somebody over there in the summer to train with him. Like, we taking care of you. So, yeah, I think Leon definitely surrounded himself with that family. Because remember the first time we got D Rose, he wasn't feeling it. He wasn't feeling coming to New York. He wasn't feeling being here.
D Rose? I think he.
When we had Melo and Joakim Noah. The first time we got him, he didn't want to be.
I think he couldn't believe that he couldn't go back to.
Crying. He didn't want to leave home. You know, big with his son. But yeah, now the second time it was like, and even after this little rehab, this is almost like a third time, because now he feels rejuvenated when he said he's down to his rookie playing weight.
All right, but now still, I don't need you getting hurt, D Rose. Like, I need you to chill. I need you to be healthy come to playoffs, because we know you that kind of player.
Like you told me before, and when it comes to certain things with the Knicks, that's what I want. That ain't not going to be what Tibbs want. Tibbs is going to, if he comes in there and you see how lightning quick, because even I was going back with Derrick Rose, a lot of the videos this summer to try to see where Derrick really fits us if RJ was taking the next level. And I'll be honest, I was just like, he is so quick off the ball. Like, he don't spend that much time setting his man up. He flies down court. He gives those 2 dribbles or 3 left to right, I guess, to see where your feet are, and he gone.
Yeah, he's like a running back.
He looks
And wherever it is open, so right there. There
Yeah,
you go.
and then too, the impressive part when you're looking at it in slow motion.
Yeah, what's up, guys? We back. Ran out of space on my camera on the phone, so
Get that right.
we trying to get the iPhone 14 in October, so we can have more space and better quality. So, my bad.
All right, so let's just finish that up then with Rose. His play, he's gonna be really counted on because just his quickness and his skill level. Looking back on it, we also gonna have to try to fit in with him. And then to me, I think to wrap it up, I don't think it's really gonna be a position battle in training camp as much as even what Leon Rose said. I think just at the 2 guard position, I think everything else is pretty much solidified. Obi's not gonna beat out Randall. All right, not that he don't have the skill, but he's just not. We know who the starting point guard is, and we know RJ's penciled in unless something happens at the 3. So the only battle really is gonna be starting 2 guard and backup 2 guard, and then maybe backup small forward. Everything else seems to really be solidified. You know, Jericho might be the odd man out in this scenario, but that would almost be understood. You know, so we're gonna wrap this up and what's that? Get the what iPhone what?
iPhone 14.
Get that right. But we know if you haven't seen the interview, please go back. I'm sure everybody has. One of the best interviews I've seen in a long time from somebody up at Knicks management. And please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Peace.
Peace.